Hello, church. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ron, and I serve as one of the elders at Corner Bible Church. And it's my privilege to lead you in a devotion today in preparation for the celebration of Easter coming up this Sunday. So today the reading will be from the book of Luke, chapter 21, verses 5 through 9. I'll be reading from the ESV version. And my Bible has a heading here that says, Jesus foretells the destruction of the temple. And the reading says, "And while some were speaking to the temple, how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, he said, As for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And they asked him, "Teacher, when will these things be? And what will be the sign that these things are about to take place?" And he said, "See to it that you're not led astray. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and 'the time is at hand.' But do not go after them. And when you hear of wars and tumults, do not be terrified. For these things must first take place, but the end will not be at once." So according to church tradition and a lot of Bible scholars, Jesus made these statements to the disciples on what would have been on the Hebrew calendar, Nisan 11, in the year 3793, according to the Hebrew calendar. Of course, according to our calendar, this would have been, according to the best estimates, April 3rd, AD 33. And I just don't think that we have an appreciation sometimes for how central the temple was in Jewish culture and in the minds of the disciples that Jesus was talking to. Especially this temple that was rebuilt by Herod. And by all accounts, it was one of the most elaborate, opulent buildings in the world at the time. Historians say if you have not seen the temple in Jerusalem, you've never seen a real building. So it must have come as a great shock to the disciples that this building would be torn down and not one stone would be left upon another. But we know from history now that these events did occur in 70 AD when Titus Vespasian, the Roman general, came and besieged Jerusalem. And this ended in the destruction of the temple, and indeed no stone was left upon another by the time it was all over with. And Jesus predicts the wars and this trouble that's going to come. And this also must have come as a great shock to the disciples, because even though Jesus had been telling them for some time now that he was going to die, that he was going to be handed over and crucified, they still had a different vision in their minds about what was going to happen. And if you remember the little "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets that were popular a few years ago, maybe you still got one. In this case, we don't have to really wonder what Jesus would do if he knew that he only had 36 hours left to live, because he tells us in the account that goes on this week. And he sets about preparing his disciples for the world that they're going to have to live in and for the events that will come following his crucifixion and his resurrection, so that they're not led astray, so that they're not dismayed by the things that they see going around them in the world. So even though Jesus only has 36 hours left to live, more or less at this point, and he knows that his crucifixion is coming, his first thought is for his disciples and preparing them for the events to come. I hope that this reading has encouraged you and blessed you today. I hope that we see ourselves sometimes surprised by the things that God is doing in the world, but that we're not discouraged or led astray by the events that are going on around us, and that we can take heart from the warnings that Jesus gave to his disciples on this event. Thanks, and have a great day. Hope to see you in church on Sunday.